So today, Jummah, day of Jummah, Friday, 19th, is it, or 20th of February 2021. Right. This story of my dad. Yeah, my dad. Now, he was born in a place called Gurdaspur in India in 2000, oh no, in 1937, maybe. They didn't have proper records. So we'll say 1937. He was the second oldest of five brothers and one sister. In 1945, I think, there was partition, and someone called Lord Mountbatten drew up some maps, and he made the Muslims, well, it's a long story, but you can read all about it. Partition. Basically, people from Sikhs and Hindus from the area now known as Pakistan were moved to India. The Muslims, some of the Muslims from the area of India moved to the new Islamic state of Pakistan. My grandfather, whose name's Nur Muhammad, he decided, right, we're going to go and we're going to live in this new Muslim state called Pakistan. For anyone who's listening, Pak or Park means clean. Stan means land. So if you call us any derogatory names, you're just calling us clean people, yeah? Whatever you call us. That's the white people or the non-brown people who choose to use that country to call us a derogatory name. Anyway, back to the story. So when he was about 7 or 8 years old, he had to walk or sit on a donkey or cattle 3,000 odd miles it was from Gurdaspur to the place near Faisalabad where they were given some land and a new chance to live. There, somebody his father knew got ill, and then my grandfather, whose name's Nur Muhammad, made dua, oh Allah, take away his illness and give it to me. And guess what happened? He passed away, unfortunately. So there's a lesson in that, to ask God to heal people rather than take away their pain. But nevertheless, great act of sacrifice. So then my father was now an orphan with four other brothers and a sister and living in the village. They were a bit naughty, bit how orphans are when they haven't got father's guidance around. So the thing was, my dad wasn't that academic, he wasn't that intelligent, but he used to try hard and teachers used to like him. I think he was about 21, 22, in his early 20s anyway, when he said, right, I'm going to go to Pakistan. I'm going to go to England, this new land called England. So he went to this new land called England. But in those days, you couldn't just work and get the money for a flight like now. He had to borrow money from the people in the village. So he had to borrow money and borrow money and borrow money, a little bit here, 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 until he had enough for the flight to get to England. Then I don't know how, but he ended up moving to a town called Maidenhead, which, nice town, nice, clean, middle-class town. A lot of posh people live there. Got one or two council estates, but it's a nice place to live, nice and green. The other side of the airport, away from London. And he moved there. And then, this is one of the stories he told me I remember. In 1963, he'd never seen snow before, and he had to walk 3 miles to work in a banana factory where the colonialists must have got some bananas from some African republic and then managed to set up a factory near there. So he used to walk 3 miles to work, 2 or 3 miles, and then on the way there was on this particular winter there was snow up to his knees, and he'd never seen snow before. And I remember him telling us that he prayed to God. He thought he was going to die just on the way to work, how cold it was. We don't even see snow like that in England now because of climate change. He said it was so cold and so thin he thought he was going to die. But then he remembered he owed people money. And then he said, please God, I don't mind dying, but let me pay off my debts before I pass away. And yeah, alhamdulillah, I don't think his children owe people money. And none of his 4 children owe people money. Nor are they into debts, nor are they pretty honest people in their business dealings and their affairs. So this gets passed on. Anyway, it's nearly 6 minutes. There was other stuff I wanted to tell you. When he was a young lad in the town near the village in Pakistan, he used to collect the money after Jummah. You know, there's Jummah collections. He used to collect the money, and when he came to England, he helped in building the mosque and establishing the mosque. And then they asked him what he can do. He said, I want to collect the money after Jummah. And that was it. They called him the treasurer of the mosque. He was very proud of that role. He was the treasurer of the mosque, but all he had to do was really count the money after Jummah and take it to the bank. And he done that until his early 70s. And yeah, there's plenty more stories. I don't know if this is good. This is enough to go on a podcast, but it's a bit about my father, who was the third person in the stories I couldn't tell the other day. It's good to know about your past and your father's sacrifices and grandfather's sacrifices. Good to know these things.